Recording in progress.
If you ever like maybe you want to make a few extra bucks, you could be the lady who does the recording in progress voice.
I'd
Recording.
love that. I'd
That's
be
gotta
happy
be
to.
like $100 right there.
A few minutes later.
This is my friend Liz. Liz and I have been friends for a while, years. We have a similar background in that we do a lot of stuff virtually, online, a lot of music online. We have overlapping tastes in music and experiences and stuff like that. Just to embarrass Liz a little bit, I think she is one of the finest musicians I've ever met. Great singer, great player, but also great composer, very innovative, very courageous. And if you know me, courage in composition is one of the things I admire most, and she's really got that. We sort of started really getting to be like friends about like a year ago, year and a half, year and a ish. We've
Yeah.
been friends, but I was like, hey, we should we'll talk more often or whatever. And she started hanging around with my friends, and all of a sudden they like her more than they have like me, which so that was a mistake. But but yeah,
No.
so just recently we've been like, maybe we should help each other out a little bit, like musically.
Yeah.
So, which she did. She sang on my recent release called Born in '69. And I asked her with the utmost humility and respect if she would let me play on her song that she just recorded called Shadow People.
Let's pretend you don't exist.
And I'm gonna, wherever I post this, I'm gonna try to put links to those things in the comments so you can get to them, because Shadow People was a song like when I heard it, like it just grabbed me so hard. And I don't think it's just me. I know a lot of people love it, but it really got to me. Liz and I have been talking recently about my upcoming album called Let the Dead Things Die, and if she wants to help me. And she said yes. And I'm like super excited about it. So I'm going to start. Liz, what are you up to? What are you doing lately?
Well, I'm working full time on my solo music. Been at it for a year, and some change. Just before Joel and I started playing in each other's sandbox on the regular, instead of just like bumping and I really love what you do. I really love your vibe.
Yeah.
How
We
do you
should
do
talk. So
this?
we should hang out sometime.
Yeah, and we never. I mean, it was just like, oh, let's do a duet. Let's do something. Let's like work together. Yeah, just before we started talking about that, I was doing what I felt like was my solo swan song, and I could talk for way too long about that, but that's what I'm putting my full-time energy into now. I stopped teaching. I stopped gigging. I mean, gigging like in brick and mortar because pajamas from home, it's just, anyway.
By the way,
Yeah.
those of any of you who have heard Liz or me play in Second Life, I promise you, this is not what we wear at all. What you're looking right now, this whole put together. Well, I mean, this is as high as it goes for me as far as put together goes, but like
But these are my pajamas.
it's the pajama type of industry. So tell me more about what you're doing. What's going on like right now?
But since you introduced me to your friends, I'm also working with them, uh, mainly Allison and Drew. We're working together a lot, with Allison's solo stuff. And
So for those of you who don't know, Allison is the one who sings backup on my song Hard Times, and Drew is the one who mixes and masters almost everything I do, does almost all my videos, and he also played bass on my first album. So they've both been a big part of my life for a while. Please continue.
they're now a big part of mine, and both just monster talents and so much to bring to the table, just like Joel. The whole little support group of artists, creatives, has been like, just, it's, to me, it's everything. It's been the game changer that has me on the trajectory I'm on right now, which is finally doing my solo stuff. I've never done the solo stuff in a way that was commercially competitive. I only ever worked in bands or duos or some kind of a
Yeah.
situation where the people were involved. So, but now I'm like doing any genre I want to. And if you know me at all, You probably don't, but I am interested in many different genres and I can wear lots of different hats. And when people say I do a variety, that's kind of a cliche thing that people say, oh, I do a variety, but I really do a variety. I mean, it's like you name it,
So
right?
tell the people who are watching this where they can catch you live online and what you have released that they can buy in recently.
Well, I'm working on at the moment. I have 2 albums nearly finished. But almost all the singles are out in distribution at the moment. And I could talk about all the streaming platforms which I've been kind of pushed into, but
I'll put something in the comments that people can click on.
oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but Bandcamp is that's my go-to because I'm trying to raise funds because I'm a dual citizen and I'm always going back and forth between countries, and it's really expensive as an artist to do, as an indie, like obscure, like, underground kind of person. I'm much obliged if you, or you
Yeah,
can get them
of
for
course.
free if you like, or
Liz,
join Patreon. But
Liz
why
also
am I
does.
pitching it?
No. I want to do that. I want to introduce people to you because I want people to understand why I was seeking to bring you in on this stuff. Liz has a courage. So she's got the knowledge, like she knows the theory, she plays great, she sings great, she's got all that nailed down. But one of the things about Liz that I really like, and I think sets her apart, in my opinion, is that she has a lot of courage. So she does stuff that other people who are equal to her in skill, which is not tons of people, but people who are equal to her in skill don't always have the guts to do something that people haven't heard before. And I know Liz will resonate immediately when I say, like, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But I like that that was one of the things that pulled me to her as an artist. So Liz is also doing a ton of her own work. So like she works really fast and tends to produce a lot of stuff. Works with Drew, who does my mixing and mastering and stuff. And we just started talking about Let the Dead Things Die. She's caught a number of my shows, so she's become familiar with the material, especially the new stuff that's coming out. And we just talked about which songs she'd like to get in on. And so you picked 4 songs that you're going to do some contribution to: Murmur, The Kiss Goodnight, Handwritten Apology, and the wait, don't say it. Somewhere someday. So
That's it.
4.
Yeah,
So
4.
if it's okay, tell me why. Like I gave you like 16 songs or something. Like why'd you pick those
Yeah.
4?
Again, I would just want to say I enjoyed all of it, but those just were like sat in my lap when I had to listen, and I was just like, oh, hi, you know.
You know
So
what's funny about you picking Murmur is like there's a few songs that I'm doing right now from the new album that like everybody's into. Nobody seems to be into Murmur at all. Like I'm doing it anyway. Like it's going on there, right? Like that's the thing. I don't care what everybody can hate that song. I'm still putting it on. But I was surprised you chose that.
yeah, well, yeah, it was a really strong one for me. Yeah, yeah, I always liked it, hearing it live, and plus it had that familiarity to, I so yeah, but I always enjoyed it.
Mm,
So it just jumped in my lap, and but I know what you mean about songs. Like I have songs that when you like shadow people so much, that surprised me because, and
mhm.
then there was another one in my if anybody clicks on and looks at my singles. Another one for me is Hardest Part.
The wake up, pull it together, climb on out of your head. It's the only way.
Which I thought was fully self-indulgent. I was taught long ago, and I'm busting out of all these old thinking patterns and stuff, but old ways of thought. But what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is it's neat when you have a song that you feel like is only for you, that only you will get, and that is not popular. Why can't you write something nice? I've heard, but yeah, I like.
Nobody bothers saying that to me anymore, which is almost like an insult. Like people are just kind of like, yeah, like we know you can't. Like I don't know what that's about, but see, what you're describing though is the opposite for me. because you're like, I wrote this song, I think it's totally self-indulgent, and then it turns out like people love it. I wrote Murmur, and I'm like, everybody's gonna love this tune. It's gonna be, and like people are like, like that. Like I still do it, and
I stopped feeling that people are gonna love this thing a long time ago.
I don't know. You get a feeling though, like you do a certain song. When I did Handwritten Apology, I knew that some people would vibe with it, and I wasn't sure. And I don't want to overanalyze it. Like you can overthink these things and make it ridiculous, but I did kind of feel like it's just more relatable because a lot of my songs are about like here's the universe cracking open in the middle or whatever. But like this is just basically like she dumped me, like or whatever, or like I miss a girl. And I think like it's easy to make a joke about that. And certainly like Paul McCartney and John Lennon had their conversations about it. But I think like if it's relatable, it's valid.
Yeah, I do get a chill when I go, it's good. This is good.
Yeah,
I think
get that too.
I think this is good.
Yeah,
it makes my skin move when my skin goes and I'm like, you know, yeah, I pay attention to that in all like art and music and life and sunsets and everything like that. I'm like, this is stop and pay attention.
You learn how to play, you learn how to sing, you learn how the theory so you can put the chords together and the melodies and stuff. And then you learn arranging, then you learn your tricks and you learn your mixing and mastering and you get all that stuff down. All of that is really important. But at like whatever you're doing, the job is to make people feel something they understand. And like all the rest of the stuff's fantastic, but it means nothing if you don't get there. If you don't get to that, where people are feeling like even, and what's cool is like it doesn't even have to be something they've experienced, but if you write it in a certain way, they can feel it and they understand it. And I mean,
in their own way, sometimes
in their own way, and sometimes that works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. Like I'm still learning about that. But what I did realize is like nobody cares what guitar I'm playing, nobody cares how I like what microphone I'm singing into, nobody cares about any of that. But if I can get them to cry or like they want to dance or they get done with a song, they want to call their mom, like whatever. But I mean, I feel like that's my life goal as a musician to do those, to make it feel like that.
Same. I am right there with you. Me too. Yeah.
So did you release BFF? Like, is it out?
I did. It is.
Okay,
out.
Tell me about BFF.
Okay, I'm just going to be totally honest here.
Yeah, just say it.
It's funny because I used to only write depressing music. And then hence the little quip that I made about why can't you write something happy? But it is a happy song, and I did it because I wanted to change the trajectory of my career when I started doing my swan song solo stuff. The song's about platonic love and friendship, family stuff are really sought after in sync licensing.
Right.
And I want to play some music in sync licensing again. I did many moons ago when the indie scene was very different and music hadn't been as devalued as it is. It was on its way, I trust. But it was nowhere near what it is now. But I did place a little moment on a Disney show.
Look, I can't do this anymore. My head is throbbing.
Anyway, that paid me a lot of money, and that was 100 bazillion years ago. And I'm still getting like little trickles of off the old royalties back end. But what I'm saying is I want to reboot that, and I want the prosperity to be able to fund what it is I'm doing, because this is my joy. If I don't do music like this, I'm so sad, and it's just not good for anybody. So BFF came from a brief, like literally a brief that they're looking for music about friendship, and that it is always sought after. So I'm like, I could do that.
That's a great song. It's one of my favorites. Like I actually only heard it for the first time a little while ago. And what's interesting, like I get what you're saying, but like you wanted to write something that fit a particular objective, but like it's so authentic. I actually think just knowing you, like people watching this may not know you as well as I do, but I think it'd be really hard for you to do like a Chad Krogery kind of like just right to the charts kind of song. I just don't think that's you. I just don't think that's you. I think that even
Yeah.
when you're trying to write something like I need to make $1 million, what's a song that, like I think you're still gonna write like something really authentic because I just don't think you can do like the formula A plus B on these charts in this demographic. Therefore, the odds of this being a hit are. I just don't think that's something that
Yeah.
you're good
Believe
at.
me, I've been fed all that. And
Yeah,
I
me too.
was, yeah, like from like back in the 90s, that was like the clinics you go to for this and that, and you're in taxi and you do. Yeah, so that was my focus, like my obsession. And I felt like I was forcing it all the time. I was like thinking about it, not that I would force the brief. Sometimes I wouldn't. I'm like, this is sounding wrong. This is not me. This is wrong, 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 wrong. Although, I mean, BFF is a really good example of that. There were many incarnations of it.
Mhm.
And it started out as kind of a candy pop rock kind of real. Not not that I couldn't wear that. It just
I
was
know.
going in the wrong direction.
So there are three other songs. Why did you choose the Kiss Goodnight?
Well, honestly, I've heard you do it a lot.
Mm.
and I always liked it. And it was like it felt like my old buddy. So I'm like, yeah, holding hands with that one. No worries. Yeah.
You know, when I wrote that just as the pandemic was kind of kicking in, and I recorded that, and I was like, this is trash, and I put it away for like 3 years, and then I never throw anything away, and because I go back through it, you know, you look at an old thing you wrote, you forgot about it, you go back after a few years, you look at it, you're like, I'm seeing this from a whole new perspective. I was like, I can make a
Yes.
song out of this, so I
Yes.
changed around the drums, and I added a vocal part, and then I did a couple of things that are just very red heavy, like a little bit of the Arabic stuff that I put into
Yep.
it. Yeah. So anyway, that one I would never have thought, but I did it. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you picked
No,
it.
I love it.
That's
It's
good.
cool. And I'm
Um,
excited to see how it evolves. The way I'm born in 69 changed. Well, that excites me. Being a part of that little process there, like you played it for me and I said, yes, okay, yeah, I totally hear. And I think I was wearing those pink fuzzy slippers and
yeah,
then
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah. I remember that.
oh, if you could find that clip, add it in. That's a
I'm
funny
gonna I'm
thing.
gonna look for that because that would be a perfect thing to interject.
Edit it in here.
Born in 69. Like down there.
Oh, I got some new slippers, by the way, that'll crush that. So the
Okay.
next time I send you a video like that,
Yeah,
you're going to be
yeah.
like, oh,
Okay.
upgraded slippers
Yeah.
and
Okay, that's good.
ridiculousness. I wanted to say, because you mentioned about taking old material,
Yeah.
that struck a chord with me because that's really what I'm doing right now. Because I mean, I've been writing solo for many, 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 many years. This is my first time being able to just be off and do everything I want to do. I've been revisiting some really old ideas, like when this first started happening, and I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna throw myself into this. Call the Police was my very, very first single ever as a solo artist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to call the police.
Which is
New era.
available on all platforms, except maybe not Spotify eventually. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the
Okay,
see about that.
so tell me your feelings about Spotify.
So I joined, I mean, I didn't join. I allowed my music on their platform because a random young lady here in Australia found Call the Police, as it turns out. What a segue. My first single ever. It resonated with a random stranger from a reel that I had put up on like one of the social medias. And she said, I love this. Where do I want to find, I don't see it on Spotify. And she's like, will you do that? And I said, yes, I will. Instead of being the crotchety old indie artist, which I'd become, like, oh, that'll never work.
Yeah.
Really, I got really cantankerous and crusty over all these millions of years of being in the business and the ups and downs and watching it change and devalue to the point where you have Spotify who pays the artist a fraction of a cent for each download while they're paying for their their jets and whatever, their bloody hovercrafts and, whatever. So I just kind of went, get over it, because I was going through a big shift in my trajectory, in my way of thinking. And I'm just like, I'm going to leave that old Liz behind, the cantankerous Liz, and just go into the new, looking at the indie scene, not at the negatives, like, oh, they're devaluing us and we're just like, we'll never get anywhere, blah, 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 blah. Just do what you love to do and just put it out there to where people can hear it. And if it's on Spotify, then it, put it up on Spotify. So I did, but I still felt this little feeling inside, like, that really sucks, But, and my husband's super into Spotify. So he, that's what he enjoys to use for his streaming. And so that's how he listens to me. So I was just like, I just go with the flow, whatever. And I used to make the joke with you about, well, maybe in 20 million years, I might be able to shout you a pizza or something, at Domino's, maybe.
Okay, so we have not tons of time,
Okay.
but what I'm going to ask is, let me just say, I got to have a good question. Okay, so you picked 2 other songs. Handwritten Apology. Tell me why you wanted to sing on that.
I just felt like it was sort of like you were letting me in on a secret, and it just felt so personal and authentic, extra, like this vulnerable side that I don't know. It was just next level in that, like, kind of confessional.
I have 2 songs like that on the new album that are the most sort of like personal, and which is weird because that wasn't my goal when I was trying to get away from really, really personal stuff and go like less autobiographical. But I ended up writing these, so like that didn't work out. But sometimes when I'm singing Handwritten Apology, and the other one is Letter to the Man I Used to Be. I don't know if you heard that one or not, but and like sometimes when I'm singing it, like I'm just about to start, and it lasts like a split second, but I have a moment where I just hesitate almost, where I'm about to sing and I'm like, oh God. There is a moment when I'm doing Handwritten Apology, just as I'm about to cut into some of those lyrics, I'm like, God, what am I doing? Like, and I get that with Letter to the Man as well. But anyway,
it took me by the hands. So yeah, it said me.
what about the other one? Somewhere, like, not as many people know this one. I think Somewhere Someday. What was the draw to that for you?
Right. And again, if memory serves, and I think it does, because it made quite an impression on me. That's the one with the tremolo. That gave me instant yes. I just love that vibe that you created, and again, I can't wait to hear what you do with that. But then also in your vocal delivery, there was some stuff in there that I've not heard from you before, and
me neither. So
I was really impressed and interested in it. I mean, first it hit me with that kind of How Soon Is Now, the Smiths sort of like swagger. Gives me a chill just thinking of it as like one of my favorite tracks in
that's
the world.
High praise. I know.
Yes.
When a Gen X woman compares you to Smiths, like, that's not a game. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it moves my skin. But so I'm really excited about that one. Yeah, because that swagger.
All right, so I have a few. We're almost out of time, but I'm gonna ask you. This is like bullet rapid fire. You know what bullets are. I don't know why I'm doing this, but what I want you to do is to tell people who are watching this what they should be looking for from you in the near future, what they should look at right now while they're waiting for it to happen.
More music and videos. I'm just going to continue to punch that out. I didn't say where you can find me on like my live streams. I've been taking a bit of a hiatus from that at the moment because I'm focused on creating more content. In that I mean writing my art, working. Patreon.com/lizaday. You can join for free, or $5 Australian a month, gets you in to see all content.
What's the next song that's going to come out of you?
I have one called Tongue Tied, and
Oh, yeah?
some of you, I mean, if you don't know me, you probably don't know that I have vocal cord paralysis, and they don't know how I can speak, let alone sing. And at
Mm.
one point, they said I mightn't speak again properly. But look at me now. I mean, I'm going. But I do have a paralyzed vocal cord, which is a weird thing. I'm an anomaly. I'm actually in a book. It wasn't about the vocal cord paralysis because I wrote it just before it happened. And it was a metaphor. It is called Tongue Tied. So, but it got really literal really quick.
Now so that's what you're working on right now? That's coming
Yeah,
out?
Tongue Tied.
Okay. I haven't heard anything about this one yet. So okay.
If you click around, it'll be there. We're both patrons of each other, by the way.
Well, that's what I'm like, how did I miss that? Like, I love what you're doing. I really
Thank
do.
you.
Well, you know that. I mean, I don't want to make it this thing where like doing it like performatively, where like people are like, I'm really a big fan of Liz, everyone. Like, I don't want to make it sound like that, but I am, you know, I'm a big fan. And
Genuine.
I
It's
just wanna-
genuine. We're not screwing around. I mean,
No, I know.
I mean,
I want to
I can
thank
always
you
find
also.
something nice to say about people's music that I'm not, maybe I'm like, oh, this isn't my cup of tea, but I really genuinely like your stuff.
I'm very grateful that you're going to be helping me out with this. So I don't know what the end result is going to be, but I know that having you involved is going to make me feel like $1,000,000, and I know people are going to love it. So honestly, between you and Olga, I think that like I have my dream team as far as vocals go. So I couldn't ask for more.
She's awesome. Olga, you're so good. I really like your stuff.
Yeah, really.
Great-
No,
great work.
honestly, Olga is so consistently amazing, but you both have that thing where we were talking about, I'm not like, I got like a minute left on this interview, but you both have that thing where you're so good at like complex, dense harmonies, which is a thing that really helps me, make the song into the best of what it could be. So I'm really grateful for that. All right, Liz, have a very productive day. Thank you for doing
You
this.
too. All right. I'll see you in the funny pages.